This is Creatine, and this is me. My name is Calvin, but you can call me Cairo. And in this video, I took 10 grams of creatine every day for 30 days to see how it would affect my body. I know I don't look it, but I've been going to the gym for almost 3 years now. I haven't really put much focus into my diet, so I've really been main gaining during this time period. Make sure I get the right amount of protein in every day and eating a bit of maintenance calories. I'm aiming to start a mini cut for the summer to get the abs popping and to start lean bulking towards the end of August. But for the month of May, I've decided to start taking a supplement called Creatine. Creatine is a well-known supplement in the world of bodybuilding and in sports. It's made up of 3 amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, which, as we know, if you want to start building muscle, you need to break down the muscle tissue through exercising, weight training, and then repair it by eating protein. Creatine contains phosphocreatine, which turns into ATP. And even though I did biology, I completely forgot what all this was, so I had to look it up. ATP is a source of energy which your muscles require in order to perform exercises. But your muscles can only have so much ATP. But when you start taking creatine, this allows more ATP to be in your muscles, which means they'll have more energy, which in return means it'll take longer to push yourself to failure, which means you can ultimately do more reps. Now, the recommended amount of creatine that you should be taking per day is about 3 to 5 grams. However, you see a lot of people online enter a somewhat loading phase with creatine, meaning that they'll take about 5 times the daily recommended amount, so about 20 to 25 grams, for the first 6 weeks of taking creatine, just so they can get as much of it into their system as possible and as quickly as they can, and then they'll revert back to the daily dosage of 3 to 5 grams because their body has absorbed that much that it won't need anymore. Now, I've seen reports of creatine being bad for your health, that it can cause hair loss, and it's just not good for you. It's not a natural supplement. It is the most researched natural supplement that's going about right now. So the only thing that will really happen to you if you take too much creatine is that it will just go through your system, your body will just piss it out. So with all that information, why am I taking 10 grams per day? For one, I believe I was a non-responder to creatine because I have took it in the past and I just took the 5 grams per day and I didn't really feel like it responded that well with me. I didn't feel like I was getting the most out of it. And 2, I haven't really seen anyone taking 10 grams per day online at all, so hey, I thought I may as well just give it a shot. So what happens when your average Joe like me takes 10 grams of creatine for 30 days? Well, before we look into that, there are 2 main components that we need to analyse. During the 30 days, I experimented with the bro split and my own variation of the body part workout split. But in the end, I found out that I responded best to the bro split. Bro split is just when you train one major muscle group per session. And you do this for 5 days in a row and you take 2 rest days. However, when I was doing it, I did my 5 days training, took 1 rest day most of the time, and then just fired it the next 5 days again. I would do legs on day 1, chest on day 2, back for day 3, shoulders for day 4, arms on day 5, and day 6 would be my rest day. And then I would just start from the beginning on day 7. I just feel like focusing on one major muscle group was just a great way to help isolate the muscle itself, and honestly I just get a great feeling from it. For each day I only did 3 exercises per body part for about 3 to 4 sets, with every set being pushed to failure. I feel like the sweet spot for my rep ranges are between 8 to 15, because I know if I hit 8 reps, especially at the start of my workout, that means the weight is too heavy, and then I'll just lower it and try and get between 10 to 12. Whereas if I hit 15 reps, that means I would increase the weight either the next set or the next session, depending how hard it was to get to that number. For my legs, I would do the hack squat and the leg extension to target my quads, and the seated hamstring curl for, well, you guessed it, my hamstrings. For my chest, I used to do a lot of benching, but I've now reverted back to just doing dumbbell bench press. Then just give the bench a slight incline to hit incline dumbbell press, to work my upper chest, and then high to low cable flies to work my lower chest. For back, I would do pull-ups to warm up my lats. I'd then move on to close grip lat pull downs, and then just finish off with bent over rows. Moving on to shoulders, I do dumbbell press with my front delts. Probably wondering what my hand position's all about, and it honestly is to protect my shoulder right now because I've got a dodgy right shoulder. And then move on to rear delt flies with the cable to give that 3D effect from behind on my shoulder. Cable lateral raises for the lateral head or the side of your shoulder. And then to finish off, I do some shrugs to work my traps, as it's a great way to help thicken your neck. On arm day, I start with triceps. I do the overhead press to work my long head. I then move on to the tricep pushdown with the bar attachment to target the lateral head of the muscle. And for the final tricep exercise, I just reverse my grip. It looks like I'm doing a bicep curl, but I'm extending my tricep right at the bottom. And I also like to throw in some single arm pushdowns with no attachment, just to get those triceps burning after every set I do. Once I've given my triceps a good 5 to 10 minute rest, I'll then switch on to biceps. I always start with cable curls, it's just a great way to hit the belly of the muscle. I then switch to doing single arm cable curls. I kind of do it in a more dragging motion. And then to finish off doing arms, forearms, I do seated hammer curls. I feel like doing them standing, I don't really get a great feeling, but when you're extended at the bottom in a seated position, oh my god, it's unbelievable. And that's to target my brachialis and my forearms. And yeah, that's pretty much my whole training program. I know it doesn't seem like I'm doing a lot, but at the time, it was what best suited my needs. And I'm looking to improve upon it for the future. Now, the second component we need to look at is... For my diet, I was slowly cutting out my calories during this time period, as I wanted to try and ease my way into the cut going into June, July, as I've never done one before. My maintenance calories is just above 2,200, I believe. So since I wanted to ease my way into the cut, I thought to start with, I would just make some small adjustments. Instead of having white bread all the time, I would have brown bread. I switched to smaller portions of chocolates I'd have during the day, and eventually cut down from 4 meals a day to 3, as I would just skip for breakfast and just wait to have lunch. So I was basically kind of doing intermittent fasting as well, so I would stop eating at a particular time, say about 9 PM, 10 PM, and then I would wait till the next day and eat about 11, 12 in the morning. As best I did try to stick to this for 30 days. There were certain events I went to, such as car meets and that, and birthdays I had, and then also Scotland were in the Euros. But we don't talk about that, because that bald prick Steve Clark ruined my summer.
Yeah, be sad tonight.
I honestly did use those as excuses to just pig out for some of those days. Once I finally do get my mini cut fixed, I'll discuss it in a video in the future, basically talking about the mistakes I made and the most practical way that you should carry out your cut. This was my physique on day 1, with no pump and natural lighting. I know, it barely looks like I've touched the weight in my life, and I'm sitting at just under 155 pounds, or about 70 kg. And you're probably thinking, Calvin, why the fuck are you recording vertically? It's not 2013. And that's because I recorded the first half of the series on my TikTok page, which you can follow in the link below, and I decided to record the second half of this series for this video. So I'll give a brief summary of what happened during these first 15 days. I promise you I will try and be more organised than this. It is quite hard to run when you've only recording everything on your iPhone 12 and you've got 64 gigabytes. So for the first few days of taking creatine, I could already see some small changes happening in motion. Since creatine gives you more energy in your muscles, ATP, I felt more lively going to the gym. I'm someone who doesn't really take any caffeine at all, so all the energy I get is literally just from calories. But for me, this honestly felt like my caffeine for my muscles. Every workout, I just felt more pumped up than ever. Once I got into the second week of taking creatine, the biggest change that I noticed was my vascularity. Creatine kind of stores more water in your muscles, so you will feel fuller, but at the same time, since I was cutting down a wee bit, I noticed my veins were starting to pop out even more, mainly my forearms and my biceps. And usually under good lighting I can see them just about, but it seemed like I could actually see them just in normal lighting as well, and they were looking pretty juicy, not gonna lie. My chest is probably my most lagging muscle group as well, so the improvement I've made from it since the start of last year honestly has been unreal. Consider I'm not taking my diet too seriously. For each workout I was getting, the pump just felt amazing on every body part. One of the biggest benefits of creatine is your recovery time. Usually for my legs, since I'm always standing at my work and I'm doing karate, it feels like it just takes a longer time for my legs to recover when I'm not taking creatine. Sometimes it'll take like 3 to 4 days for them to recover, whereas on creatine it took between 2 to 3 days. I know it doesn't sound like a big difference, but trust me, see when you're training almost every day, it makes such a difference. I really did enjoy recording these 15 days. I've always kind of wanted to do like a day in the life type series, but unfortunately with the timing of everything, trying to edit all my videos, I try and set out a busy schedule every day for myself. I decided to stop recording these daily series on my TikTok, as I wanted to focus more on the self-improvement videos I was making at the time as well. So once I hit 15 days on TikTok, that was it. I stopped making them, and I decided to come back and record every 5 days of my journey. Basically just filling you in on my progression, showing some snippets of my workouts, and then eventually seeing where we are at day 30.
Okay, so we're on day 20 right now of taking 10 grams of creatine per day. I skipped one day. I got back home from work, I was shattered, my mum made me a roast dinner. It was that good, I fell asleep, I forgot to go to the gym. I forgot to take my creatine, so I'm gonna make it up to you. I'm gonna take 20 grams a day. I've not really had time to focus on this. Got a decent amount of shifts coming in the day, so I do apologise that I haven't really got much right now. Biceps, triceps today, I'm just gonna go out there and just fucking kill it, man. Oh, that was probably one of the best arm days I've had in a long time, man. Still got the biceps pump, to be fair. I've not really had any time to pause or record today just because I've got to work straight after this, so while I get in, get my lunch, get the other 10 grams of creatine down because I've only had 10 so far this morning when I woke up. Let's get back in the gaff and get some more juicy creatine in our system. Okay, so that's me finally having my creatine right now.
It's been a really long day, man. I decided to try something new. There's this YouTuber called Lee Lim. He's a gym influencer, he's a competitive bodybuilder, and he made this meal which was basically consisted of 500 grams of jelly, 300 grams of protein yogurt with mixed berries on it. I thought, you know what, I'll give that a try. I ended up only having about 100 grams of jelly. I did get my protein yogurt as well. I had some berries, so I just had some of that basically, just see what it was like. Not a fan of mixed berries at all, so I'm gonna see if I can tweak it, maybe alter it, and see if I can make my own type of like protein yogurt jelly thing for the future that is top tier. Right, okay, so this is day 25 now. I'm sorry, I'm so tired, man, honestly. We're still getting through it, but we're still getting through it. And plus, it's arms today, it's triceps and biceps, so I should be fine for this one. My sleep has gotten a little bit worse because of my working hours right now, but I do like to think that the creatine has helped because my recovery has stayed the same really, and I'm still pushing myself to my limit. Anyways, without further ado, let's get creatine down our system and get heading to the gym. Well, this was the moment you were all waiting for. Day 30. It's time to see how my body has transformed, how creatine has changed me. I can't lie, when I started this series, I wasn't really expecting too much change at all. Because come on, 30 days to build up that much muscle, that's quite a big ask. But it's fair to say, when I took my top off on day 30, I was pretty happy to see who I was looking at in the mirror. Considering that was only 30 days of taking creatine and I was slowly cutting down my calories, I think that was honestly a pretty decent transformation. On day 1 I was sitting at roughly 155 pounds, and on day 30 I was at a comfortable 150. I didn't get the most of my weight loss because I wasn't too disciplined for it, but despite all that, I've never felt stronger in my life. So even in a somewhat calorie deficit, I did notice my weights were still going up at a steady pace. There was definitely improvement with my chest, as you could see more definition, and the muscle just looked more full. My bicep veins, like I said, were popping. My tricep and shoulders pump were still fairly decent as well. I'm probably going to change up the exercise I do for them in the future because I feel like I didn't get exactly the best out of them. My legs have always been one of my strong points and the pumps were just brilliant. But I feel like the biggest surprise to me was seeing the definition on my back. Obviously it's behind you so you can't really see much of it. I've never really paid attention to my back, but it definitely looked more defined. Now I'll be honest, despite the fact I'm nowhere near where I want my physique to be right now, I'm still fairly impressed with who I see in the mirror today, and the creatine definitely helped me stay motivated during this time, as I feel like a lot of the days I'm just kind of going through the motions, you know. But like I said, it helps you push for more reps and the recovery time is great. Obviously your sleep and your diet and your training are still 3 major components you need to look at, and sleep is still a big one that I used to overlook a lot, and it definitely does help when you get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, but I still like to think the creatine does play a decent part in this. Don't overlook your sleep especially, and your diet, which I've been doing for a while, and then your training. Make sure you get all these 3 narrowed down despite the fact you're taking creatine, because the creatine doesn't just fix all these things. It's not a hack. It's just a supplement that helps add additional benefits to your training really. So if you're watching this and you're a beginner or you're just new to the idea of creatine, then I would highly recommend taking it. Whether you want to take it the way I did it by taking 10 grams per day, that's entirely up to you. That's just what works best for me. You might respond well to the 3 to 5 grams per day, or maybe you want to try the loading phase where you take about 20 to 25 for the first month or 2 and then revert back to the recommended daily dosage. It all comes down to the individual and how you respond to it. But yeah, that's all I got for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you want to see more gym content like this in the future, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. But I hope to see you stick around for these videos for the future so you can see my transformation. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.